Hi everyone, I'm San. You're listening to Sanhuyenpodcast. Honestly, this week I wasn't planning on releasing a podcast, but suddenly I had something on my mind, everyone. It's about whether to live in the city or in the countryside. San thinks some of you might be at a crossroads, wondering whether to stay in the city or choose to go back to your hometown. Then there are others who might be thinking, should I move to the city? San's hometown has some rather dull aspects, so everyone has their own thoughts and faces these decisions. We have quite a lot of worries and uncertainties, so today, San will share a few thoughts with you all. It's raining in Saigon today, you know. It's been raining a lot in the evenings lately. It's not a heavy rain, but just enough to make you really crave a Enhao session. By Enhao, here I mean drinking coconut water. For San, Enhao means coconut water and soft drinks, as I don't actually drink alcohol. But I really miss those moments of going out to eat with everyone back in my hometown. Today, my two brothers called because I often FaceTime my family members, you see. So one brother was already out, Enhao, Ing, and the other was about to go. And I was incredibly jealous, everyone. San immediately said, next time I'm home, take me out to Enhao too, okay? And my brother was like, but you never drink alcohol. I said, I don't drink alcohol, I just eat the snacks. And honestly, Enhao places often have delicious snacks, you guys. Like there's a dish called breaded pig's tail or maybe beef tail, I'm not sure, but it's fried until crispy. And chicken feet and braised pork stomach with pepper. Not to mention, I remember those rainy days just like this, going out to eat grilled sweet potatoes and grilled corn in the countryside. I loved it so much, I miss it terribly. If only I had a crush with me, it would have been perfect. Back in university, when I was in Hanoi, I sometimes went to eat grilled food under the bridge. The more it rained, the more I wanted to go. Eating under the bridge might not have been the most hygienic, but it was delicious and cheap. As a student, I'd occasionally invite friends, hey, let's go Enhao under the bridge. Though we called it Enhao, we mostly drank plain water. I grew up in Ho Chi Minh, specifically Ho Chi Minh City, so I didn't spend a lot of time living in purely rural areas with rice fields, even though I did go back to my paternal grandparents' village for a few months during summer holidays when I was little. So I did get a glimpse of what rural life was like. But mostly, I grew up in Ho Chi Minh City. San also feels there are many differences compared to a large and bustling place like Ho Chi Minh City. Now that I live in Ho Chi Minh City, most of San's work is done at home. Occasionally, I'll go out for shoots or meetings, but mostly for social connections. I have friends, not too many, but generally we meet up sometimes, go for snails or hot pot. But of course, with such a busy life, everyone has their own worries and concerns. And San herself, unfortunately, doesn't have someone I can just call up and instantly go out, Enhao, with. Actually, I do have someone like that, but I don't feel entirely comfortable going out with them. San really prefers going out with my brothers or my friends in Ho Chi Minh, people I've known for a very, very long time, and I feel so comfortable with them. San realized that living in a big city isn't just about having friends to go out to eat and drink with, it's actually a completely different way of life. It really is. Imagine, many times you work from morning till night, and when you get home, all you want to do is rest, just stay home. Meeting friends frequently is quite difficult. You only get to meet up occasionally. But of course, San isn't saying that in the countryside we meet up constantly either. But it seems the neighborhoods and the way of life are very different because it's much smaller. As a result, people can easily connect with each other. In the countryside, it's generally easier to meet up, go out to eat and drink, and share your thoughts and feelings. And San herself really likes being close to family. So, living here alone, I sometimes feel quite lonely. That's why I've made several podcast episodes about loneliness, you know. So, if you're moving to a big city to start a career and earn money, remember that you'll have to get used to being alone, get used to loneliness. You won't always have someone by your side, but gradually, people get used to that feeling of loneliness. Actually, sometimes I feel lazy, you guys, because it becomes a habit. What the city offers is the opportunity to earn money, potentially have a better standard of living, and a really good living environment with so many conveniences. For example, in the countryside, you won't find houses with beautiful Saigon River views like these. Also, there are many tennis courts here, very convenient. Many people like playing tennis, and there are swimming pools right below the apartment buildings. Shopping malls, restaurants there are so many, too many to count. Actually, San could totally move back to Ho Chi Minh to live, but why didn't San choose that? First, San wants to talk about what the city has that the countryside doesn't. Ho Chi Minh City, first and foremost, has the weather. The consistently sunny weather here puts me in a better state to focus on work. Perhaps that's why this has become the most economically important city, benefiting from heaven's timing, Earth's advantages, and human harmony. Humans cannot escape the influence of nature. But if I go back to Ha Tin this season, I'd just be lying under a blanket, folks. Because it's cold, and when it's cold, you feel like going out to Enhao or resting rather than working. At this age, San feels that she suits moving to a big city to earn money, focus on personal development, train herself to overcome loneliness, and live more disciplined. But I'm really craving long pork innards. Maybe I'll have to order a plate of long. After I finish recording this podcast, I'll eat that plate of long. Secondly, it's the lifestyle in Saigon. Honestly, the fact that you meet people too often in the countryside sometimes isn't what I prefer at this stage. Meeting occasionally is fine. Like now in Saigon, San feels it's a better fit. Although right this moment, I truly just want to go out and eat snails. But many times, when I think about it, I feel a bit lazy because I'm so used to ordering food home and eating it there. You know that feeling. Because it's so convenient, you just need to be in your pajamas at home, order once, and 30 minutes later, you've got a plate of snails, a plate of long, a bubble tea, or a tamarind drink, ready to be served. You can sit at home, no need to go out, no need to change clothes or anything. And suddenly, this convenience brings a certain satisfaction. It feels so free. Sometimes, even if someone invites me out, I'm too lazy to go. Because every time you go out, you have to be presentable, right? Makeup, nice clothes, and eating out might taste better when it's freshly prepared there. But it won't be as comfortable as eating at home. Because when you eat at home, you can eat and watch TV at the same time. So, the convenience and lifestyle of Saigon help me be more proactive, more independent, more dynamic, and it feels like it fulfills all the requirements I want. Imagine the routine. Wake up in the morning, go down to the pool for a swim, then work. If I want to work from home, I do. Otherwise, I go around the neighborhood. There are some really cute cafes, so I sit there and enjoy a bit. Then I can go home. If I want to eat, I eat. If not, I order food home. There are just too many food choices. Then in the afternoon, I book a tennis class and go play tennis. Meet up with friends who also like sports, then go home in the evening to do something I like, and then sleep. San feels addicted to the feeling of living in Ho Chi Minh City. Sometimes, when I have international business trips that last more than a week, I feel restless and miss Ho Chi Minh City. I just want to come back. Not to mention, sometimes when I go home for too long, like 2 weeks or more, I start missing Saigon. Recently, San was home for quite a while, almost a month, and I missed it so much I missed work. And I just felt restless, constantly wanting to work. Many times when I'm home, I just feel idle bored, you guys. So, if you're in that state, meaning you like discipline, you like loneliness, and you like focusing on work, being free and proactive, then San thinks the city offers quite a lot of opportunities for you, especially for self-discovery. Because in a big city, there are more opportunities and an environment for you to express yourself. But what does the big city lack that the countryside has? What is it? One incredibly important thing is familiarity, closeness, and the love from family. For San, for instance, being someone who gets extremely homesick, I find the value of being close to parents and siblings to be truly wonderful. You might not all live in the same house anymore since everyone's grown up, but if you live close, say just a kilometer apart, you can occasionally go home to eat together, or sometimes call your brother and say, "Hey, I'm sad, let's go out to Enhao." Or, "Brother, I'm craving this sour fermented pork roll, I'm craving this banbeo water fern cake so much," and he'll buy it for you. Or, "Brother, this is broken. Brother, that's broken." Generally, it feels like having your brothers and relatives nearby, you guys. It's a very comforting and reassuring feeling. Around 2020 or so, when San broke her leg falling off her motorbike, her mother urgently flew to Saigon to take care of her for about 1 or 2 months. And that was also the moment San realized that no matter where you go, there's truly no place like your own family. It's really true. Nowhere is like your own family. Of course, I know I need to be in a big city to earn money, but if we're talking about the place where I'm loved and cared for the most, it's definitely with my family. That's the greatest gift. So San had a thought, maybe I should convince Mom to move to Saigon and live with me. The other day, San asked Mom, "If San doesn't get married, will you still take care of San?" Mom said. Of course I will, why wouldn't I? So San never has to worry about getting married, folks. Well, that's just a joke. Even if Mom didn't support me, I'd never rush into marriage anyway. But of course, sometimes in the loneliness of Saigon, I really do feel like getting married. Because it feels like I want to have my own family too. If this city gives me so many opportunities, and also a warm family, that would be perfect. If you're in a big city and you're married to the person you love, cherish each other very much. Be by each other's side and love each other deeply. Support each other in life and strive together. Because in a big city, there are many difficulties and hardships anyway. What else does the countryside have? In the countryside, there's a really interesting way of life, which is the very clear community spirit, you guys. San remembers that last year when her grandfather passed away, the surrounding neighbors cooked feasts. They helped cook the entire feast. They cooked incredibly delicious and professional food, and San's family only paid for the ingredients. The rest they did out of their own goodwill and affection. And this was in my paternal grandparents' village, you guys. About 50 kilometers from the city, the more rural the area, the more affectionate people are. It seems the neighbors cook everything to invite guests and so on. And for weddings, for example, neighbors and everyone come over to help out very enthusiastically. When San's brother got married, for instance, Mom's colleagues, neighbors, everyone came to lend a hand, each helping as much as they could without ever expecting anything in return. And this is something San will say honestly, it's quite rare in a big city. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, it will always be there, but it will be much less common because it's a way of life, a habit. Because in big cities, of course, there are more pitfalls. It's also very clearly benefit-driven, like the responsibilities are clearer. It's like, if I do this for you, what do I get in return? That kind of mindset. So that's something incredibly precious when we go back to the countryside. But of course, that's also why in the countryside, we often get asked questions that are a bit too personal. Sometimes people are just being caring, that's true, but there are also times when you feel like you lose a bit of your personal space. However, in big cities, you rarely encounter such awkward questions about salary, partners, or children. Because in the countryside, people have a very different habit, a different way of life. They care more about each other, they pay more attention. The surrounding environment isn't too vast either. Essentially, the relationships are very close-knit, you guys, so they care about each other more deeply. Many times, my mom's colleagues care about me more than my own friends or colleagues in Saigon, you know. In Saigon, life is very social, easygoing, and fun on a superficial level, but to truly connect deeply with each other, it's not easy. But of course, fortunately, living in Saigon, San finds this place incredibly lovely too. Naturally, you won't have relationships where, for example, oh, your family is having a wedding, so I, your neighbor, have to rush over to cook feasts for you. That would never happen. But honestly, sometimes I still meet really lovely people around, like the fruit vendor near my house. But generally, when we move to a big city, we need to clearly understand that it's difficult to rely on others. If we want their help, we also need to provide them with some benefit in return. You know what? When San lives in an apartment building, for instance, sometimes neighbors don't even look at each other, you guys. Neighbors open their doors, see each other's faces, and don't even say hello. San even deliberately smiled to greet them one day, but they just ignored her and walked past, you guys. Oh my goodness, sometimes I just think, wow, so that's how it is. San feels that her own personality has a bit of a rural side to it. I'm not overly urban, you guys. Sometimes I really like the comfortable closeness of the countryside. Because in the countryside, people are less calculating and suspicious. But in the city, sometimes if I'm cheerful or I compliment someone, they'll overthink it, wondering if I have an ulterior motive, if I want something from them. In reality, I don't want anything. I can provide everything for myself. If I find someone lovely, I just compliment them. That's why people in the city are harder to get close to, because there's always a barrier, a certain suspicion, a doubt that San thinks we, of course, also need to have. After all, we're strangers meeting each other, right? But in the countryside, we've known each other for a very long time, so there's no such suspicion. Everything seems to become pleasant, lighthearted, and easy to connect emotionally. Every time I go back to my hometown, sometimes my mom's colleagues give me rides to eat, you know. Hello, is that San? Where are you, San? At home? Okay, wait a bit, I'll come pick you up to eat, San. Meaning, my mom is teaching and her friend who doesn't have a class, and who I often see, will call me to take me out to eat. Many times, it's that sweet and lovely. In the countryside, there's something truly wonderful, which is the food. Regarding food, I feel less worried compared to a big city. Because in big cities, many times you don't know the origin of the food, and even very big brands aren't always reliable. They have licenses, but their licenses aren't always trustworthy. Recently, there were cases, like some brand selling low-quality pork. After a while, it just went silent, you guys. Shut down. People completely forgot about that brand. San forgot too, but in the countryside, it's different. In the countryside, pork is butchered fresh on the same day. In the morning, Mom has to tell the pork vendor in advance, today, San wants to eat spare ribs, and Mom will buy spare ribs. Or, for example, if you want pork hocks, you have to order them beforehand. If you don't order in advance, you won't get any because by 10 or 11 a.m., it's all gone. It's like that every day, you guys. So at my house, it's rare for us to use the fridge to store a lot of food. The fridge is huge, but it feels quite useless. Probably just for yogurts and face masks, but actually, fish and meat are all eaten fresh. And that's a truly wonderful quality of life, which is rare in a big city. Because the habit of living in a big city is about stocking up, storing things, like buying groceries for the entire week in one go. Because, really, who has time to go shopping all the time? Even San herself does the same. Usually, San orders a box of fish to put in the freezer, and meat and other things are also bought once to last the whole week. At most, only vegetables are bought frequently. So that's a huge value of the countryside. Food can be fresher, cleaner. Many times, it's self-sufficient. Many households have farms or grow their own vegetables, and San feels that's also a wonderful value. But of course, in the countryside, there will be fewer job opportunities. Actually, there will be opportunities everywhere, but certainly not as many as in a big city like Ho Chi Minh City, with its massive corporations and offices. Do you ever feel like you've traveled far to see the world more clearly, only to want to return to your own hometown? That's how San felt after studying abroad in England. I just wanted to return to Ho Chi Minh City. If you want San to share about the environment in Europe compared to Vietnam, San will make a separate podcast episode next time to share why I came back to Vietnam. But today, it's on a smaller scale, within our own country. Where is the right place to live? As San has shared, San wants to live in both places. Whenever I want to go home, I go. Whenever I want to work here, I work. San feels that if I want that, I need to earn a lot of money so that plane tickets are no longer an obstacle. Before, when I first moved to Saigon around 2018, San only went home once a year for Tet, Lunar New Year. And during Tet back then, I didn't have money for plane tickets, you guys. Because back then, a round-trip plane ticket was truly a whole month's salary. Almost a whole month's salary, because one way was almost 3 million VND. I had just graduated and started working then, so many times I traveled by car to save money. But gradually, over time, San can go home every month now. As long as work isn't too busy, I go home whenever I want. No longer needing to worry too much about money. From that, San realized a very important thing. If we choose to live far away, it will be less difficult if we have money. And that's the truth. Imagine saying, "Mom, I miss you so much. I'm booking a ticket to come home next week." You can go home immediately and see everyone. You visit for a few days or a week, then you return and go back to work as usual. Because honestly, many times, once you're used to living in a big city, after a few days back in the countryside, you start to feel bored, restless, wanting to play tennis, wanting to go for coffee in Thao Dien. Back then, San also set a very important goal for herself. Once you've moved far away, you have to try your absolute best so you don't have to worry too much about money, and you can go home whenever you want. And if you choose to live in the countryside, you also need to ensure a suitable standard of living, but at the same time, don't let yourself get bored or disheartened. Meaning, you also need to find work to do and ways to develop yourself. Every now and then, you should still travel to see if there's anything new to learn from people. Like that, San realized that no place is perfect. Each place has its good points and things that aren't suitable. It's just about what kind of environment suits us at a particular stage in life. At the current moment, San is, of course, still very well suited to Ho Chi Minh City, and I go home about once every 1 or 2 months. Yeah, and lately, I don't have much desire to travel around. I really just like staying at home. I feel so tired of flying and taking cars, just fed up with it. I feel like staying home more, feeling lazier. Maybe it's the age where I want stability or something, I'm not sure. It just depends on each stage, you guys. Lately, San also doesn't feel the need to make new friends or meet many people. Many times when I meet people, it's just a simple social greeting. Whereas before, San might have been more cheerful, talked more, and asked more questions. But now, San has turned more inward. San feels more peaceful, lighter, and in the evenings, I call my family to chat. And actually, every time San goes back to her hometown, San mostly meets with family. I rarely meet friends. Because friends are all married now, have kids, everyone is busy, you know. You know what? No matter where you live, what's important is within ourselves, you guys. Living far away will be harder, requiring us to earn money and take care of our own lives. Living far away without money can often feel helpless, and it's truly difficult. It really is. As for the countryside, you're close to family, but sometimes you might miss out on opportunities. No place is perfect. It's just about where you feel more suited, and of course, you can go to experience it. And if you go and it doesn't feel right, then we come back. But do you see the value of family? That's the place we can always return to. But in the city, sometimes once you leave, you might not be able to come back. It's really true. You might not have enough courage to return again. Every time you come back, you see, oh, house prices are so high, all costs have increased like this. Now I'm just starting, how will I afford all this, right? You must have been very strong. Those who live in the city, they try very hard and make great efforts to overcome all difficulties, to achieve something greater, to put faith in themselves. I'm not saying people in the countryside don't put in effort. Of course, they have their own efforts. But for a bird to leave its nest, go to a distant place, and start over, that truly requires a lot of effort. Perhaps that's why when we live far from home, our inner strength is more clearly revealed. Our inner power can be nurtured more strongly over time. We learn how to integrate, how to control our emotions better. We temper ourselves over time, stepping outside our own comfort zone. And San understands that you've been through a lot of hardships. Some of you might already be tired of the city and want to go back to the countryside. San understands that, because even I sometimes call my mom and say, maybe I should go back to the countryside to live. I feel like that thought just comes to me sometimes. I get that feeling every now and then, it's true. San also understands that sometimes you want to go back, but make sure you have something to go back with asterisk. Yeah, we shouldn't go back empty-handed, guys. We can return with experience. Maybe not a lot of money yet, but we have big city experience, and we can use that to start our own new journeys when we go back. And if you're living in the countryside and want to move to a big city, San just wants to say, go for it, don't overthink it. Because you have to go to know, you have to go out into the big ocean to know how well you can swim. Just go to experience, and go to find out if you want to stay or if you want to return. Nothing is perfect. And even when we make a choice that you once thought was perfect, you might still feel regret at some point, because that's just the opportunity cost. We can't choose everything. But San thinks the most important thing is that once you've made a choice, you need to see it through to know if it's the right choice for you. With every choice, whether to live in the countryside or the city, as long as we're not superficial. We choose, and we give our best to experience the interesting things in this life. San has been living in Saigon for quite a few years now, 7 or 8 years. I feel incredibly grateful to Saigon. Grateful to Ho Chi Minh City, grateful to the city named after Uncle Ho, for being so gentle with me, for giving me so many opportunities to be sitting here today and feeling very happy. It really is. I'm waiting for the plate of long to be delivered. Eating alone might be a little sad, but I understand that young people in Ho Chi Minh City are living exactly like that. They are also going through similar moments. I feel like Ho Chi Minh City taught me to be content even when I'm alone. Maybe it's not just the city. Maybe I've also had some internal changes. But even if I could go back, the decision to move to Ho Chi Minh City was a very right one in San's life. And in the future, San will stay here long-term. I think so. Occasionally, San will still visit other cities to travel and experience them for a few days. But then San will always return to the city named after Uncle Ho. San will stay in this place, San will commit to this place, and build her home here. Of course, no one can predict the future, right? But San also hopes that you can make choices and be satisfied with what you have. Thank you all very much for listening. San hopes that this podcast episode can make you feel less anxious, less hesitant about the things going on in your minds. And thank you all very much, and wish you a good night.